Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so uh, listening to Rob Pelinka's statement in regards to for LeBron James, and I just took what I can from it. Um, Essentially, what took from it was that he was saying, "Hey, we got one of the best players in the game, and he's committed to our organization for a certain amount of time." He stated exactly how long the contract was, 3 years, and he he believes that it has to be a bilateral commitment. Both uh, LeBron James' commitment to the organization and our commitment to the organization to LeBron James, and making sure that he's able to get to the end um, of the contract. And so I understood the wording of it. It was one of those things where it's like, your commitment. Let's reiterate the fact that you're on contract, just in case you're thinking about what your options would be outside of those contractual obligations. Um, and just understand, rest assured, that we're on the same page. Rob is saying, uh, it's one of those situations where I don't know how to play this. I'm not in Rob's seat. You know what I mean? I honestly don't. When you start getting into situations like this, you start talking about how you feel and what you think is right, and all of that just comes with a whole lot of context that I'm lacking. So when I pride myself on getting on this camera, and I say certain things, maybe I don't know what all there is to know about what I should before complaining. So that's something I try to allow myself to grow with in regards to this channel and my opinions. But I think my frustration is just not knowing who to hold accountable for the mistakes that have been made. And because these are the two parties that may be. Sorry for turning off the light. I didn't even realize I was doing that, but it's kind of comfortable for me to talk in the dark anyway. You guys know that. But just because these are the two guys that basically are to blame, more or less, for the Lakers' struggles. One of them's talking to the other. And for me, it's like, bro, both of you guys need to put your heads together and figure out what you're going to do for the short term. And it's not about arguing out front for us to see. It's more so about figuring out how you guys can go forward and make this team not as bad as it looks right now. For me, man, it's so difficult because honestly, as I sit here and I read what Rob is saying, to me, it just speaks to almost like a stance taken, or not a line in the sand, but more so about like look, we have a whole lot of leverage here with this contract. So with you, trying to put pressure on me to make a trade, just know that, I'm on the same page with you. You don't have to do this, but don't think for a second that we're going to look to try to break obligations or feel like as if we don't have the leverage that we have in the situation just because you're unhappy. And I understand the position, but I don't share it at all with Rob, because my thing is, from my perspective as a fan, we need to figure out a way to get LeBron James off the team before these 3 years are done, because that's what's best for the organization. And for those of us who are looking at it very closely, that's what we understand. So it's kind of hard for us to watch this go back and forth and kind of hear you respond to LeBron James, but not respond to us. You see what I'm saying? LeBron James is who may be to blame, and the other person is you. The people who are upset is us. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I think the disconnect is for the Los Angeles organization. They forgot, in patronizing to the fans, that we actually have real desires to succeed. Because they always patronize us with bullcrap. Like, okay, we're going to give you a superstar, and then we're going to give you another superstar, and we're going to give you another one. And it's like, okay, we see that you're patronizing us. You're talking at us, and we understand that you don't know any better, but understand that we're actually watching you, and we're not happy with what we see. So while you're playing charades, we're sitting here very serious waiting for you to win. And at this point, we're like, no, you're not going to do that, are you? You're still going to sit here and pretend like we don't understand that what you don't understand is harming us. You know what I mean? You guys are acting like like you got it all under control, but we know you don't have it under control because we understand what you seem to not understand, which is you've run out of time. Neither one of these parties, both LeBron or Rob Pelinka, need to be addressing us. They need to be packing their bags and going, both of them. They got to go bye-bye if Jeannie knows what she's doing. This is the exit strategy for both of them. Bron should already be, in his mind, thinking about where he wants to play. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it comes down to, because for the Lakers right now, we need to rebuild. There ain't no conversations involved that don't have to do with that. We suck. We know it. That's it. Ain't no talking about winning now and none of that. Our next stop is the bottom, and we need to build from there. We know that. And our organization is kicking the can down the road as if that's not the thing to do. And, that's just ultimately what they're going to have to do anyway. The question is, who is Jeannie going to allow to make these decisions? And I'm sitting here listening to Rob make a statement, a threatening basically statement to LeBron James about how he better remember that he's on tab for 3 years, and that, I'm saying to you, I got you. Which is just like, I'm sitting here, imagine me sitting next to LeBron James and I'm listening to you say that, Rob, and I'm saying to you, yeah, you saying you got him, but I ain't seen a move made, not as much as a roster spot filled since 37 was a rep and was waived, who is Matt Ryan. For those who don't follow the channel very much, we call him that. He's over there hitting threes for the Minnesota Timberwolves, a better basketball team than us, and we couldn't use him. We couldn't use him with the worst three-point shooting team in the league. And a better basketball team took our player and is now using him in a rotation. And you haven't even filled the roster spot. And you want to sit here and threaten LeBron James about keeping his roster spot when we know damn well the only thing we should be doing is moving him and AD to reset everything? Like, I don't want you even here anymore. Why are you making statements for the team at all? You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with Rob Pelinka. Why is he making statements for us at this point? With all due respect, the only news we need to hear is that he's fired. That's it. And I know you're not supposed to be firing a GM in the middle of the season, but everybody and their grandma will tell you the reason why this team sucks is because the team was constructed poorly. Why was the team constructed poorly? Because the guy you gave an extension to put the team together. Now me, I'm a flawed individual. I supported the nonsense, but I was looking at it the wrong way, and now I can live with that. Just like I've been wrong about a lot of things. But one thing I can't be wrong about, I can't afford to be wrong about if I'm sitting in that seat, is whether or not the next person who makes the decisions is going to be the person that should be making those decisions. Because if they make the wrong ones, we fall much further into the dumps, as to which we're going to be a much worse basketball team. Much worse. And I know Jeannie's somewhere recovering from her surgery, but Rob's out here stirring up more mess, as far as I could tell with this, making it even more so of a problem for the team on the court, because LeBron James is going to be really pouting and kicking the can and tweeting and all kinds of stuff in response to Rob's tweet here. He ain't gonna like this. I know he ain't gonna like this, because Rob is saying that he got his back, but we ain't seen trade the first. Now, if Rob follows this up with a trade, I'm concerned as a knowledgeable fan. But as somebody looking at it on the surface, that would make me feel a lot better about what he's saying to Bron, because you ain't doing nothing for Bron. You know what I'm saying? Like, you saying that you're on the same page and all this. We've been waiting here for almost 30 games. The team has been horrible. He's running around with 4 guards, and you talking about, yeah, it's a bilateral. Ain't nothing bilateral, bro. You left him with trash. What are you talking about? The only reason why you have a job is because our owner is somewhere else. Mentally, she's doing something else. The only reason why you got a job. And you want to threaten the greatest player in the game? Trying to remind him of his contractual obligations? Do we need to remind you of yours? You just signed an extension that none of us want you to sign at this point. You shouldn't even be here. You want to threaten LeBron James. Tell him he got 3 years on his contract. That's 3 more years than you would have if I was running things, Rob Pelinka. That's 3 more years than you would have, buddy. That's what I actually thought of his statement. That's why I gave you all those qualifiers. And I don't know what's going on. I don't really know nothing. But like, just how on the surface, how I read it, there's somebody who needs to be fired telling somebody who needs a statue somewhere that he needs to stick with us and hold, because he got a bilateral agreement. You know what I'm saying? I'm with you, and you don't see me with you, but secretly I'm with you. So you need to stop being against me, as if he done anything for him. Like, get out of here, man. No. You've done nothing for LeBron James. At the very least, at the absolute very least. At the very least, you should have told him no. You should have told Jeannie no. You should have told everybody no. Anybody was trying to get Westbrook on this team, instead of your man Buddy Yield, should have been told no. And at that point, you should have made it very clear that you didn't have this job, that somebody else had the job. Then you would have all credibility. And then we could listen to what you got to say and have some truth and have it hold some weight. Instead, what we remember is the bad trades, the white lies, all that, man. I'm telling you, Rob, it's not a lot of positive, brother. And I know I was the one. I encourage everybody to go back and listen to the video I made about it, Rob Pelinka's extension, because I made some good points about where he started and what he was working with when he got here. But some of them decisions, even within those confines, were just awful. Self-sabotage, even. And who was to blame? Him? Clutch? I blame Jeannie. So all this talk about what LeBron James is, he got one of the best players in the world. The man's almost 40. Let's stop this nonsense. He's going to be 38 literally in a couple hours. So what are we talking about? Like, I like LeBron as much as the next man. And I think he's one of the best players in the game. But you ain't got no business going forward with him for the next 3 years with our circumstances. We really don't. We got the most injury-prone superstar in all the league. And you want to also pair him up with the oldest guy in the league. What the hell are you thinking? This is what we need to be saying. Never mind what we've been doing for the last 4 years, because those was 4 years ago. We talking about going forward and right now. What is your timeline? Super old and super hurt? And you want your solution to all the backlash is to threaten the old guy who could retire at any moment. Who, like I said, should probably have statues in 2 different places. Who could literally stop playing and take all of our value from our fucking franchise and just retire right now. While you sitting up here talking about contractual obligations, he's a billionaire, bro. He got almost as much money as everybody in the conversation. And you want to wage war against him talking about contractual obligations? When it's his body he's putting on the line, he said he's put on more mileage than anybody else in the history of the sport. Twice over, arguably, and you gonna tell him he got 3 more years to give your ass when we don't even want you here? What are we talking about? Jeannie, please fire this man. What are we talking about? Like all the things that LeBron James accomplished in his career, and he gotta hear this from this dude who ain't even did nothing right for him? Nothing for him. I wish Kobe was alive to hear this. The likes of Rob Pelinka gotta say something. What is this? What is your boy doing, Kobe? What is your boy doing? Why is he representing us this way? He gonna have LeBron James hating the Los Angeles Lakers. What does that mean? Clutch is gonna have problems with the Los Angeles Lakers. Why would we want to wage war with Clutch? Why would we want to remind Clutch that their man is on 3-year contract with us even though he's unhappy? What are we doing? Like, if we're this lost, Jeannie, I'm gonna tell you the truth. If we're this lost, we really do need to start thinking about who else can start taking control of this franchise. And I ain't the one to start talking about selling this and selling that, because that's an entirely different conversation that none of us have any leverage to provide the conversation. But just like we moved Jim Buss out the way, we got to move Jeannie out the way if this is what's going to be going forward from within her control. Now, we've talked about Joey and Jesse Buss, and I'm with the Kaminsky bros in regards to, I do not think we need to be pushing people in positions that they don't need to be getting into to sue. If the Buss family owns the freaking organization, then they got all life long to be worried about moving who into what positions in regards to their family. I'm not asking guys to start taking over the reins. And, you know what I mean? This isn't one of those situations where you gotta put the crown on the next guy. No, this is not that, man. This is not that. This is one of those situations where we just need to make sure the people in place are in a position to work the science of what it is that we got to do to construct this team properly. Not people who gonna blow smoke at us, try to have us aiming for the wrong stuff because it's in their best interests, or have us keeping up this false bravado narrative that we're supposed to be all world perfect at all times. It's just not real. And it's not something that the field is going to allow you to keep up. You're going to have to humble yourself before the field. And there's nothing wrong with that. Your fan base is telling you there's nothing wrong with that. Because what we're doing right now is going to keep us in the dumps regardless. I understand we don't want to start over. I remember how it was when we first got Clarkson and how long it took to accumulate those young players. I know how long it takes. But let me tell you something. We're still going to suck that bad, yo. Whether we're building that way or not, we're going to have sub 500 seasons either way. The way these people are building? Y'all. No, it's championship or nothing the way that this thing is constructed, as long as Rob and Clutch are still moving this thing. It's garbage on a tightrope. You can add another contract, you can remove AD, as long as they're not getting us picks in the future, it's still the same thing, you guys. And so that's what it is, man. I don't want Jeannie to think that is as simple as trading Braun and AD. You got to clean house. You have got to stop listening to the people you've been listening to. That is why the results are what they are. These results are not satisfactory. They're not satisfactory. You know, though I don't know how to drive that point home. 4 out of 5 years with a guy that makes the finals 9 out of 10 times. It's not a good ratio. You missed the playoffs with that dude. You know what I mean? More than enough times to make this something that we need to move on from. And the only reason why it worked out is because we got a championship. And that is a wonderful thing. But we have got to look past that at some point and realize that the only way forward is to tear this thing down and move on from the people that are conversing with each other right now. One of them wants to move on, LeBron James. I'm fine with that. If it were up to me, we free him today. We trade him for whatever we can get. You know, I've heard understandings that he probably wouldn't be the biggest return that we would think because he's on an expiring contract next year or whatever, 2-year contract, whatever. I don't care, man. That's LeBron James. We should be able to at least get everyone's picks. If the Knicks want LeBron James, obviously they're gonna have to give us every pick they got. You know what I mean? And if we can't get that for him, then he's stuck here. I'm sorry. I'm just not of the mindset that we simply capitulate and trade everything that we need to trade for right now because this organization ain't smart enough to undo it properly. Absolutely not. That is not why you mortgage your future, because people aren't smart enough to know they shouldn't. Absolutely not. What you do is you remove the people who aren't smart enough to know they shouldn't. That's what you do. That's what I would do. But the Lakers never do what they're supposed to do. I told them to fire Frank Vogel 3 years into last season. 3 weeks into last season. It was 3 weeks. And I was certain that man needed to go. And the whole season went by. They let the whole season tank. Incompetence, yo. Incompetence. That's why I want Jeannie to just look around and say, people need to go. The people you listen to must be fired. And if you can't, I'm telling you, Jeannie, this is the truth. If they come with you as a package deal, then you have to go. That's the reality of it. If you can't separate yourself from your brain trust, and your brain trust is the problem, then ma'am, you are the problem. That's the realest thing I can tell you. That's coming from somebody who wants to see you succeed very much. More than you know. But this ain't gonna work. We can't do the incompetence, greed thing. We can't do that with our franchise. This franchise means too much to too many to do we just need a petty buck for now. Let's ignore all-time greatness, because everything we're about is all-time greatness, you know. When you look up at what makes us relevant, it ain't anything that's going on in any present moment. It's the history, the accumulation of people sacrificing for the betterment of what made this thing perfect as is. And so if people are not going to continue to do that to what makes it what it is, then they're just a dark cloud over what is always going to be a great franchise. And that cloud is going to leave. And when it does, we're going to remember that it was just a black cloud, just like the Jim Buss era. Jeannie, I don't want it to be looked at the same way. And we're just going to look at it as the post Papa Buss era. Is that how it's going to be? You know what I mean? Anything that happened after him was just looked at as a failure with the aberration of 2020. I don't want that to be Jeannie's legacy. But I'm telling you, if you can't undo what is already done, then that will be your legacy as a Laker head, you know? And that's just not it. That's not it. When I seen you already push Jim Buss aside, there should be no reason at all. You can't ask everybody that you're listening to in regards to this team to take a couple seconds. Just take a season off. That's another thing. Hey, look. And this ain't gonna be popular at all. But anything to get people out the door. Just give me a season. Can y'all just go away for a season? Go away for a season. Leave Jeannie with one person to just help her organize one season of our team. Can we get one season with the Knights of the Round Table, the Rant by, and everybody just give us a second. Starting next season, just give us a second. Just clear the rule and let Jeannie and one single basketball mind just put together a unit for the year. You know what I mean? Because we don't have nothing. We don't have a thing. And if you guys are going to continue to kick the can down the road, we're not going to get nothing. You know what I mean? So what needs to happen is we need to see success from some other ear that isn't in the room. And once she sees that succeed, she'll finally be able to be free of this I need my friends around me to do business idea, which fails her to no end, it seems. It simply seems. Because we can't be sure because nobody's really transparent with us. So it's all just assumptions and seems, and I'm seemingly tired of my team, and that doesn't make any sense. I've been a Laker fan since I was 9 years old. How am I tired of my own squad? But I'm not tired of my squad. I'm tired of people running my squad. I'm tired of people in place who don't seem to have their mind on making this team what it's supposed to be. So as we sit here and listen to LeBron James air out his complaints about coming here, and we blame him for what he did, and he did a lot, but he had to get the okay to do so. And nobody give him the team. This ain't his team. He don't cut the checks. He don't have to pay the taxes on none of that. This is not his squad. So any decisions that he made had to be okayed by somebody who felt that they were better off for doing what it is that he said. And that ain't no different. That's no different than signing off on a GM of any kind or president's decision of any kind. It all blows back on the owner. So that's what it is. She doesn't appear to want to be blamed for these things. That's why she's created this environment where everybody else could possibly be blamed, and there's a million different people we listen to, but that still comes down to you, ma'am. It still comes down to you. So that's who we're going to be looking at. I don't want to talk to mostly anyone. I want her to save her own company. Forget all that other stuff. Save your own company. Fight for your own company. Fight for your legacy. Because right now, I'm just watching people running into the ground and they're doing funny stuff with it. Rob Pelinka, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not one of those people that like to hang on people's little, what's the word? You got a thing about you? I don't know. It's not idiosyncrasies. That's not the word. But everybody has a little thing about them, And the word with Rob, from what I've seen, is he tells white lies, man. Nothing too bad, just little white lies, But for me, when it comes to lies, it's tricky because you don't know where it ends and you don't know where it begins. So it hurts the credibility when you get caught in lies. And so that's the thing. It's like when you tell lies, or you tell super exaggerations, and I've told super exaggerations. Y'all know I'm the worst at that. If you follow me, I exaggerate too much. I can get better at that. But we all got to get better at our thing. That's the point. And so for me, it's like, all right, Rob, if that's your thing, it's a hell of a thing, because now it's like, is he lying about this? Is he lying about that? Do I trust what he's saying? Is he really on point, or is he just filibustering? And it's like, that can really harm you when it comes to credibility, especially in an environment like this when we don't know who to blame. And that's as real as it gets. So this is one of them situations where I refer back to that, and I weigh it against Kobe Bryant's relationship with Rob, and that's what that's what saves his backside, y'all. I'm telling you. Because I sit somewhere saying Kobe's still rooting for this guy. I'm like, I don't know how. I don't know how. With some of the stuff we see in here, man, it's the only thing this dude is still floating off of is a Kobe cosign. And my thing is like, yo, even if Kobe was here, I would look Kobe in the eye and say, take your boy somewhere, bro. I promise you I would. You know I would. I'd be like, look, get him out of here, man. Seriously, that's how bad his performance has been. I would look Kobe in the face, tell him, get Pelinka out of here, please. And that's how bad it's gotten. Especially after statements like these. I have all the blame in the world for LeBron James. I really do, man. And far be it from me to weigh anybody's accomplishments. From what I understand, Rob Pelinka is amazing at what he's done in his agent career. So I'm not sitting here to say, you know, the likes of you. That's not where I'm coming from. But I just don't think anybody should be really talking to LeBron James like that in this league when they're in a position to actually do something for him and nothing's happened. You know, and I word it that way because I wouldn't say refuse, because it may be a trade there that he's waiting on or whatever, but it's like nothing's happened. So the results of having nothing happen, and you sitting here more or less in a roundabout way chopping homie down because he's unhappy about the fact that nothing has happened, you look like you're just saying basically, hey, stay in line. And I don't want to take it somewhere it's not supposed to be. But how can I not let that go into my mind when I look at what's going on with Kyrie? It's not a good look, Rob, especially when the fan base ain't happy with you. It's not a good look. We're not happy with Bron because of his part in all of this, but we ain't happy with you either. So for you to be scolding him, it's like, nah, most fans are going to take his side or tell y'all both to leave at this point. And that's kind of where I'm at. So that's kind of where I'm at. You know, from a perspective of wanting to see players respected and all of that, I don't think that's the best way to kind of address LeBron James when the team is losing and it's your fault. It's not. Especially when we know Genie's down somewhere. No, that's not what we want to do. Lakers are doing all the wrong things, man. I don't know what to tell you. And they're going to lose a lot of fans. A lot of bandwagoners, a lot of LeBron people who would have hung around after he left, they're going to be gone. They ain't sticking around. I don't blame them. I'm here. I'm going to be here for thick and thin. You can change the colors, turn the team into the Birmingham Tigers. I'm still going to be a fan. I'm going to remember that the Lakers are still following. That's just how I'm wired. But at the end of the day, this is a lost season. Yet another lost season. And it looks like, I'm not going to even kid you guys, my money's on the Celtics to win the championship. I'm not actually putting money on that. I wouldn't dare. But, like, yeah, they're the ones I got winning it right now. I don't think the Pelicans are going to be able to do it. Even though they're a talented team, I got them coming out of the West as of right now. But I don't think they're better than the Celtics. I really don't. They're going to get out-strategized, I think, if those guys come in fully healthy. And so what that tells me is that the Celtics are going to be right ahead of us again very soon. If not this year, maybe they'll get another one very soon before Jason Tatum retires. I think the point of what I'm trying to tell you guys is the Lakers, we just caught up with the Celtics, and we're probably going to find ourselves right back behind them again. And I'm not going to say we could have did anything about that. But then again, when you look at who we have on our team, one would think we should be able to. Some of the decisions we made to let players go, not keep them. You think about some of the players that we let go after we made the trade for AD. Caruso, you know what I'm saying? I think about some of the guys that have been here. THT, we refused to develop. Kyle Kuzma, KCP. How much value did we just toss into that Westbrook trade? A first round pick? I mean, like, just tossed into a trade that should have never been made. People got to be fired for stuff like that, Genie Bus. I mean, we really got to react to the poor management. Unless we're cool with poor management. I'm not one to judge, but I am one to be upset when my team's attached to it. If we're cool with mediocrity, let me know. Let me know so I can lead the fan base in the right direction. You know, so we can proceed to tell people where they need to go. So let us know. That's what we want. Communicate with us. Don't communicate with LeBron James because he's communicating with you. I don't care about that communication. I want both of y'all to leave. What I want to hear from is Jeannie Buss telling us that she's ready to move on from people, including Rob Pelinka. And nothing's going to make me more unhappy if I see the Lakers have made a trade and Rob Pelinka has done something yet again that's going to tank our team. Nothing is going to make me more unhappy than that. I know a lot of fans are going to be super excited to see Zach LaVine or Bradley Beal. And for me, those names are cool. If you can get them for the right price, those guys are great, whatever. You know what I mean? Seriously. Put up 30 points, a bunch of threes, help us a lot. We'll get to the second round maybe. But when you really talk about strategizing, really beating teams, as we've talked about it nauseum, it's not going to happen. We're just not going to have enough until we reset, rebuild, and get ourselves a plethora of picks and cap space. And we can get that. If we trade LeBron James, we can get that. Trade Anthony Davis. But the guys in place have to be good enough at what they do to make a trade of a lifetime. And I know there's a couple of good GMs out there who can make that trade for us too. I know it. A couple dudes that were itching to be in a position to make a trade like that. That's a trade of a lifetime. You don't give that to a guy who's made the last 5 trades bad as hell. Hell no. You fire him and then bring in that hot shot to make a trade of a lifetime. You don't just get any old body to trade LeBron James, Jeannie Buss. Let's make that very clear. That ain't just anybody's position. No, that ain't just anybody's move. And right now, we got just anybody in place. I'm tired of playing around with my team. This team means something to me. I'm not going to sit up here and act like this isn't something worth fighting for. I watch these games with my mother. She ain't here anymore. You know who else I need to not be here anymore? Some of these people running the machine. Some of these people in place making this team not so good. They need to go. They need to not be running things no more so our team can be in glory again like it was when me and Mom used to watch Shaq and Kobe dunking on people. That was real. This is fluff. These are lies. These are smoke screens of people telling us something that is not. And then proceeding to drag others along for the ride. I'm over it. I'm truly over it. I'm going to play the Atlanta Hawks tomorrow. Hey, I'll root for the unit. We'll see what we can do. But I'm very much concerned that anything, literally anything, will be done other than firing the people in place that have done everything that has been done. That's literally all that should be done. I'm done. Video 44. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.